This is Fernando Relis Lopez Jr., and I'm here to present my Lab 1 video report for Physics 2. So, the purpose of this lab was to introduce charge to students using household objects such as tape. We were also told to measure them. In the upcoming part, we would also determine the repulsion charge and calculate that using Coulomb's law. The first experiment, the procedure was as follows. We would create a U-tape, being a tape with a handle that was not sticky. We would stick it to a surface, create a second U-tape, and connect it to the base tape. Then we would quickly remove it so it would retain its charge. We would attach a second tape with the handle down to a flat surface. We would move our hand towards the tape and observe its reaction. Here in this video, you can see that there was a sort of attraction that was present as my hand moved towards the side of the tape. As it moved, the tape would loosely follow, although it wasn't as apparent. Following that, the procedure continues. We would grab a pen and rub it with fabric or hair to create a negative charge. Then we would have the pen approach the tape and we would observe its reaction. As you can see in this video, the tape was repelled by the pen. It would move away as the pen approached the tape, moving in vertical motions. Because of this, we could safely assume that the tape was charged negatively, as these charges would not attract otherwise. Observations noted was that the U-tape created it experienced a slight attraction towards my hand when hanging from the side of a table, and it also experienced a repulsion from the negatively charged pen. While the repulsion was minor, it was safe to assume that the U-tape acquired a negative charge during the procedure. Our second experiment is as follows. Set tape A to the bottom of the surface, to the surface of the table. Attach tape B to two books, with it falling down due to the force of gravity. And measure the mass of tape B and the distance from its falling position. As you can see here, I was unsuccessful in getting the tapes to be properly charged and to have tape B experience the electric force from tape A. So, as a result, I gathered some sample data from other lab reports. I looked at 3 lab reports and saw their data, and then I grabbed the averages of the mass and the distance. I got 0.199 grams and 0.023 meters. Using this data, I calculated the force of gravity to be 1.95 times 10 to the negative 3 newtons. Due to the free body diagram created earlier, and because the tape was not in motion or accelerating at any point, we can set the electric force equal to the force of gravity. So you divide 1.95 times 10 to the negative 3 by Coulomb's constant, 9 times 10 to the 9th, and then you then multiply that by the distance squared, and we got the charge to be 1.07 times 10 to the negative 8 coulombs. The number of electrons was the charge divided by the charge of an electron, and we got 6.6875 times 10 to the 10 electrons. To calculate the number of atoms to electrons, we assumed that the length was 0.2 meters and the width was 0.02 meters. The number of atoms we calculated was 4 times 10 to the 17th, and we had a ratio of 1.67 times 10 to the negative 7 electrons per atom. Each atom had a negatively charged electron at a ratio of 1.67 times 10 to the negative 7 electrons. The glow script code you see here is a representation of the tape experiment. To the left, you can see the constants sorted from the top, followed by the calculations that were previously shown earlier. And afterwards are the print and the modeling statements. So conclusions made during the lab. While difficulties were encountered during the procedure, including a failure to adequately charge the tape, the lab still established a foundation of charge and a continuation of concepts that we would be continuing for during the lectures. Coulomb's law was used to determine the charge. Calculations were done to determine the amount of excess electrons as well as other measurements. And a free body diagram was used to bridge Physics 2211 concepts into the course. It served as an introduction on what to expect moving forward, including the introduction to conductors and insulators, as well as further labs for this course.